There is a boost of Ivan Toney to Man United because we know to it that United doesn't want to spend huge on very many players. All they want to do is to get in the perfect players at the right price, and this is where Ivan Toney's deal comes into the boost level, and we're going to let you know who was going to hit to break this story. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as to see that we hit the magic number of 18,000 subscribers before the end of this month. But let's see close to 300 likes. Smash on this video. First video of the day coming in through thick and fast. And yesterday, if you're a United fan, you should be celebrating Real Madrid knocking out Man City, because if they went ahead to knock out Real Madrid yesterday, they would have gone ahead to find themselves in a position of defending the treble. You don't know what's going to happen on Saturday, so prevention is better than cure. I told you even last season when you're playing Man City that all we had to do was to beat Man City and knock them out of the FA Cup and win it. But when we failed, they won the Premier League, they won the FA Cup, and they went ahead and obviously won the Champions League. Mercy was onto the side of Inter Milan, known to allow to be beaten by Man City in the final. And Man City went ahead to win that game of football by 1-0 scored by Rodri. And this season, I think we've gone ahead to do our best for stopping Liverpool, because when Liverpool came at Old Trafford, so when we played away from home, we drew 1-1. We make them draw at Old Trafford in the Premier League, and we knocked them out of the FA Cup. And for that, we did the job. But for Man City, we are not in the Champions League, and Real Madrid went ahead to help us do that. You know what it means when Liverpool and Man City are knocked out. Those are biggest rivalries, and when we are really into that ilk, I just get excited and I just feel like, yeah, we are onto the right track to obviously take it to the levels where we deserve everything to be at. So we thank God for the gift of life, the Muslims. Barakallahu fikum. It's a Thursday. Amrabat looks like he's gonna be joining Fulham on a permanent deal from Fiorentina to Fulham, and then Sir Jim Ratcliffe has confirmed to us that he's gonna be there on Sunday as we take on the side of Coventry at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-final tie. So let's start it off from here. As the Christians, we thank God for the gift of life. Ryan Taylor Sport has confirmed to us that Man United are poised to discuss the prospect of moving for Ivan Toney this summer. He could be available for a cut price of 40 to 50 million pounds. Arsenal have cooled their interest in him, and Chelsea are prioritizing alternatives. So we all know that Brentford thought they could pull a hurricane on Ivan Toney. Why am I saying that they could pull a hurricane? Tottenham Hotspur sold Hurricane for 80 million pounds plus to Bayern Munich when he was 30 years of age and left with just 1 year on his contract. They did it. You get? And now the manager thought that Ivan Toney could obviously go into that ilk. Yet he's forgetting that Ivan Toney is not the caliber of player that you can put in the same category, on the same statement with Harry Kane. Harry Kane has been scoring goals for the last 7-8 years and has been consistent on his job. But Ivan Toney just went ahead to have one season where he went ahead to score 20 goals a season, and that's why they wanted to obviously hike his price. If Ivan Toney was 23-24, trust me, teams would have been willing to pay 80 million pounds. But you cannot be a team like Man United trying to build up your squad and go in for a striker like Ivan Toney. I'm sorry to say, because even the Mirror have gone ahead to really tell us that Man United are doing this, something that I don't believe is really right to do, and I don't think that he's really a player that United will obviously go ahead and really chase for. And Mirror Football told us that Man United are set to discuss signing Ivan Toney this summer. He could be available for between 40 to 50 million pounds. I don't think this is the ideal thought that United should really go in for and really sign a player like Ivan Toney, because if I'm to really reminisce on the words of the new minority stakeholder, that is Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he said he wants to look in for the next Mbappe. He wants to look in for the next Jude Bellingham. And the Mbappe is talking about is 25, 26 years of age. The Jude Bellingham is talking about is 20 years of age. Now, do you think he's willing to spend 50 million pounds on a player who is 27 or going to be 28 years of age in the summer? I don't think so. I think he is willing to spend huge amounts of money on a player who is gonna be 2021, you know, like Erasmus Højlund. You spend 60 to 50, you spend 50 to 60 on a player of that level. You really understand that he has room of development and he has a very huge resale value. And this is where I say no to Ivan Toney, because I don't find him the ideal player for Man United. I don't find him a very good player to obviously coming through and fit in the system. This system of Man United should really get all phase out. Players are gonna hit to grow huge in age, and then we get in players like Benjamin Sesko, Gyökeres, Brighton's Evan Ferguson, there is Zikazi. That caliber of striker is what I would need at the club of Man United. I don't want us to go in for all strikers, and for me, I don't really like the style of play of Ivan Toney. I don't really like it, and I don't really find it flamboyant. You know, each and every time you're having players whose flair is really limited, they reach a level and they cannot obviously cut you off the rope. That is it. And I think Rasmus Højlund deserves another person to come and compete with him, because I don't think that for any striker that comes in through the club of Man United is gonna easily get into the starting 11 for the club of Man United. Ivan Toney will likely to come in through and really say, I want to be the main man. Yet, if Ten Hag stays here, as the signals are really indicating, he'll obviously have to make this guy his priority number 9. That is it. And if at all is to make him his priority number 9, Ivan Toney won't be allowed him to come off the bench. No way. At the age of 27, all you would want to see is that teams will obviously play you as a priority. And this is where I really think that if at all I'm an agent of Ivan Toney, all I have to do is to take him to West Ham, because West Ham is a team that can hugely compete and obviously put Ivan Toney into the competition to play in the World Cup of 2026 for England, because he can really get good service from that side, and they're gonna hit to be playing with Mikel Antonio, a physical striker like him, and I believe Ivan Toney is a better striker than Mikel Antonio. If Ivan Toney goes to West Ham, I believe he can score even 30 goals a season, because West Ham has players that can really service the number 9 on a regular basis. You get right, on a regular basis. For example, if you're having Lucas Paqueta, if you're having Gerard Bowen, if you're having Muhammad Kudus, they can really work out better for him, and they can really create in very many chances for him. Even in those long balls, balls over the top, they can really track him out. Even Ward-Prowse can really see him out to really score those headers, because he's a very good crosser of the ball. So for me, I've never gonna hate obviously like this story. I cannot rule it out 100%, but I don't really find it credible and important in this build-up of Man United. We should go for the next Kylian Mbappe. We should go for the next Jude Bellingham, meaning that we should go for the next Harry Kane. We should go for the next Haaland. And how do you do that? By signing players who are really in the young age. You have a manager who has proven that he can improve young players to obviously build a juggernaut that can obviously win you all these kind of games. So for me, it's a no for Ivan Toney. But there is a boost that his price has gone ahead to be cut, because Brentford were calling in for 80, 100 million pounds. No way, it's really going to happen on him with that age of his. I think he's not that kind of striker that you will say, oh, I've gone ahead to miss out on him in the market. I don't think he's that kind of striker. He has not gone ahead to get that for me. After that, let's go to Amrabat, a story coming in through from Sport Italia via Gate Italian, I think, news in English. They've told us that Fulham are looking to make a 30 million move to sign Sofyan Amrabat from Fiorentina this summer. Man United are not interested in signing him permanently. Obviously, we know that it's written all over the world that there is no way Man United is really going to go in and really make a permanent move to sign Sofyan Amrabat because of how he has failed to impress Erik ten Hag. We are all excited when he was coming in through, and he couldn't obviously impress in this moment. But I think at Fulham, he'll do better. And I think things are going to head to further club of Man United. We might see another scenario of Marcel Sabitzer. Went ahead to get Marcel Sabitzer on a short-term loan from Bayern Munich last season, and for me he was really doing great, and I was really shocked that Man United could go ahead and really spend £60 million onto Mason Mount, yet Sabitzer was there. And one of the things I never really agreed with people at Man United was that Sabitzer was a flop. I don't think Sabitzer was a flop. The problem was his knee injuries couldn't really give him time to really cap up his season a lot. But I remember he gave us moments. That is Sabitzer, and I think he's that kind of player that you'll obviously want to see in your team doing the needful that everyone would need. But you saw him at Borussia Dortmund, 2 assists and 1 goal in the quarterfinals, that led Borussia Dortmund to be playing in the semifinals against PSG. And we might see the same scenario, because Amrabat, if he's signed by Fulham, he's going to come in through to replace Paulinho, because Paulinho cannot stay at Fulham this season. He'll either go to Bayern Munich, he'll either go to Liverpool, he'll either go to Manchester United, he'll either go to Juventus. Very many teams are really looking to get his signature in, and he's the reason as to why everything is really moving on as to plan. So, for me, Amrabat is not a bad player. He's a quality player, but as you know, football is like a lottery. You know, you pay out, you make your pledge, and when you don't win, that means your pledge is not going to work out for you. And for Sofyan Amrabat, he has failed to obviously work himself out well as a player for the club of Manchester United. But it's all up to very many other circumstances. I believe he had some good spells, but there are certain things that never went ahead in between him and Ten Hag. And when Ten Hag gave him a game to rescue himself, when you're playing against Man City, the game was 2-1. He comes in through and really gifts to Rodri to release Haaland to kill that game off to end 3-1. And I think that was the final nail in his coffin at the club of Man United. And I think Fulham are gonna get themselves a very beautiful player that you might see in 1 or 2 seasons teams go in for him hugely, like they did for Paulinho. Paulinho was available for like 40-50 million euros from was it 30? I think between 30 and 40 million euros from Sporting Lisbon. I saw Bruno Fernandes, campaigning for him to come to Man United, and we never got him. He came at Fulham his first season. He has been a beast. Second season, he has been very, very influential. And teams like Bayern Munich, Liverpool, and very many other teams are really interested in him. And very many big teams really want to obviously gate the lad in. So, to my understanding, I think it's really very good to note that Amrabat, when he goes to Fulham, he's really going to work out well because he doesn't want to return to that side. But remember, teams like Juventus are really there to obviously call for his signature, and very many other teams in there for you. And lastly, on Sunday, we are playing Coventry City, and Samuel Lucas, the chief writer for the United Evening News, has told us that Sir Jim Ratcliffe will attend Manchester United's FA Cup semi-final against Coventry City after completing the London Marathon on Sunday. That's what we're going to be told by Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So, in my understanding, it has come to note that Sir Jim Ratcliffe will attend this game of football, and I think will really knock out this side, because I want to see Sir Jim Ratcliffe seeing those players lift a trophy under Erik ten Hag. And I think this is the most open chance for Erik ten Hag to come out and really cement his his understanding with the club of Man United. And all he has to do is simple. He needs to obviously gate on along and do the needful in there for you. So for me, I'm just really excited on how things are really going to happen and pan out into that ilk. And I'm just here waiting to see how things will really get excited. But I just can't wait to see Sir Jim Ratcliffe doing what we call the dual agency at Wembley. And what I'm going to hate like about him is that he has going to hate to come in through and obviously be one of those people that hugely watches the club of Man United, and he rarely misses out. And ever since he was made the minority stakeholder for the club of Man United, we've gonna hate to see him on several occasions coming in through to obviously offer us support as a side of Man United. And he has not gonna hate to forsake us. He has gonna hate to put in the required effort, and he has not gonna hate to really deny us. He has been there for us. He has given us the best that we deserve as a side of Man United, and I think we wish for the best because the recruitment so far is really exquisite. The recruitment is really very good, and I would fancy this to really continue. So your reactions to Ivan Toney to United boost are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Amrabat going to Fulham? And lastly, Sir Jim Ratcliffe attending the game of football that Manchester United is going to be playing at the side of. It's going to be playing at the side of Wembley. I'm out. See you later. 300 likes on this video, and the rest will obviously pay out slowly by slowly.